Moving day can be stressful, but no one deserves this.
We got it. We got nothing but our personal stuff.
To us, it meant everything.
Rick Pinkston and his girlfriend June Buntel were looking forward to leaving Wappingers Falls and starting fresh in Greenville, South Carolina. They planned for this day, selected a mover off the internet for a great price of $1,204, and were ready to put their plan into action. Rick and June lived in this Wappingers apartment for the last 7 years. Small place, modest, 800 square feet. Not a big move for any mover, but then with a bait and switch tactic, everything turned bad. It started in the early morning when the mover called to say they wouldn't be there on time.
They were supposed to be here between 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday, the 27th. It was in the contract.
Right.
She called and said that they were having vehicle trouble and said that they probably wouldn't be here till mid-afternoon. And we said, okay, they'll give us a little extra time to get our stuff together. So I texted her back saying, late afternoon will be fine. She said, great, here's what the final payment will be, $530. And then she called and said that they were stuck in traffic and were running late. So not only did they not come at 7 or between 2 and 3, they didn't show up until after 5 o'clock.
And then things went from bad to worse.
The last piece went out the door, and they came up with their paperwork and tried to hammer us with a $1,300 bill, which is twice what they estimated.
And down to the last contract that we signed had all the changes and everything else. And that was it. And I said, all right, I need to know what money order we have to have here for when the drivers get here. All right, that'll be $524 is what is owed at the time they get there. We have it. He's got that money order in his wallet. And then after they got all the crap up there, onto the truck is when they came back up here and said, oh, no, you need, they wanted $1,300.
The truck was parked about right here. When the dispute happened with the money situation and the surprise cost that was now included, the truck was already packed, the door was already shut and locked. Then there were conversations back and forth between the driver and the owner and June and Rick. Interesting point, the driver, every time he talked to the owner, he came downstairs and talked to the owner privately, then went back upstairs and told Rick and June what he said.
He said, well, I talked to the guy down to $800. I still don't have $800. I got the $500 you said. You know, I'm like that. And he said, I don't know. I'll go back down and talk to him.
So then they came down for the final time saying, I got to talk to my boss one more time. They got into the truck and they took off with all of Rick and June's worldly possessions.
Went downstairs. Next thing I know, the freaking truck is driving away with everything I own. I have nothing but what personal stuff we have in our van because they took my bed, they took my couches, they took an antique hutch, they took our table. We have nothing but what is in our van and the clothes on our back because everything else went onto that truck and now they're holding it hostage for us. And if we don't give them the money, they said, we'll take it to the dump and dump it.
We talked to the owner of Mars Transportation, Charles Mars.
We didn't take their items to confiscate their items, not at all.
In your agreement that you sent to her, and she showed that to me on her phone, it says that this contract is based upon the specific items to be moved and services ordered as listed on the contract, which is the list of the 33 pieces and the 18 items. And then it says your contract price is guaranteed not to change unless you order additional services and add additional items.
Again, there were additional services, and in fact, the items that were picked up took up more value. We can actually, or no moving company, I think, can, unless you give the customer an actual flat rate on the actual price.
They charged me again for fuel, which was included in the contract, and stairs, which was included in the contract. So when they said the 65% they wanted to last night was $1,385, that is $1,385 more than the estimate they gave us and the signed contract that we all agreed upon. They're saying now, because we had the inventory, everything was dead set on the inventory. But then they said, well, you used more cubic feet. Like, that's not my fault. I went with everything on that inventory list that you gave us. We were actually a couple boxes shy of that.
You want to get as close to every estimate, to every quote, as possible. I've seen these estimates go where a customer could be exactly, correct.
I'm just wondering if you gave them a price, and in your contract or your wording, it says that it's a guaranteed price, flat rate, not to change it.
There is nothing in our contract that states that we have a flat rate with this particular customer.
I'm looking right at it. It says flat rate.
I don't have that. We don't provide flat rate services, sir.
It says, thank you for choosing Mars Transportation. We are happy to provide your client with the service as contracted below, and then it goes into what I just had said. But we found more inconsistencies. On the bill of lading, it says 500 cubic feet, $2,000.
They were being charged $4 a cube.
Yeah.
At 500, I believe 500 cubes. So yeah.
But isn't cubic feet more a measurement for storage, and transportation more a measurement of weight?
No. Well, there's several forms of where companies can actually charge a customer in the moving industry, which has now become more traditional.
When we researched this with the American Movers and Storage Association, the code is clear that moving costs are based on weight.
I told them several times, I have your $530 money order, which is what your person quoted I needed to have when the moving company came to pick up my stuff. And I don't care what happens during drop-off or whatever. I have what you told me I needed to have when the moving company came to pick up our stuff. You get that, or you get nothing.
David Feldman is the Vice President of Sales for Arnoff Moving and Storage and offers these tips for anyone thinking about moving.
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Some of the red flags of working on the internet is a lowball price, so you should be getting free estimates. If you're moving more than a list of furniture, you should have the mover come out and do a free survey. That's what Arnoff Moving and Storage does. We provide free surveys, and that meeting of the person that's the representative of the moving company will take away any fear or stress that you might have going into the moving process.
And then in this case, they should be licensed. How do you know if they're licensed or not?
Well, when they supply you with a written quote, there should be some numbers or license numbers that are on the quote. Then you could look them up online. You can look them up on the Better Business Bureau. If you wind up going to the American Moving and Storage site, there's a place to find out if they're actually what we consider is called a pro mover. And if they're a pro mover, then they've already been vetted out by the American Moving and Storage Association.
Rick and June were forced to sleep on the floor that night, hoping the next day would be a better day.
Getting up this morning and just remembering the chaos we went through the night before dealing with this moving company. We woke up to just a frustrated mess, not sure which way we're going, dragging the last few things out of our apartment and stuffing them into our cars wherever we can. And we're getting ready to head out the door. And you guys came along, and we appreciate, even if it doesn't do anything for us, if it does something for anybody else.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for Rick and June as they make their way to South Carolina with their cars loaded with personal effects and their 3 cats. As for their belongings, Mars Transportation out of Brooklyn, New York, says they will not release or deliver the load until the $1,385 is paid.
I know they were being requested to make a $1,385 payment last evening, correct?
And then you'll deliver it to South Carolina?
That is correct, sir.
And then are there additional charges that we don't know about yet?
No, there is no additional charges. Once the customer signs off on a contract and the price has been given, which is the final price, there's no way any incurring or additional charges should be there.
This spot right here is for the kitties. 1, 2, 3 kitty carriers. So they're gonna ride with her and keep her company on the way to South Carolina. Hopefully it'll be a safe trip.
In Wappingers Falls, Charlie Carnaccio, HVNN.com.